At dawn, Franz rises. The clearing is cloaked in soft mist, the ashes of the burned cultists still faintly smouldering. He stretches stiff limbs and takes a slow walk toward the waystone, only to stop short. Dwinbar is already there, standing still as a statue. His hand rests gently against the stone, his brow furrowed, eyes closed. "Everything all right?" Franz asks, surprised. The dwarf flinches, withdrawing his hand as if burned. He spins around, covering the moment with a forced smile. "Top of the morning," he says brightly. "Just admiring the craftsmanship." Franz raises an eyebrow. Right. Dwinbar's lie hangs awkwardly between them. He doesn't mention the faint vibration he still feels in his fingertips, or the brief flash of color he saw when touching the stone. Something's changed in him since yesterday, as if another sense, one he never knew he had, has quietly stirred awake. He mutters in Khazalid as he shoulders his pack. "Elgi Witchery. Greetings, noble listener, and welcome back to the Temple of Verena. I am Brother Clavius, keeper of knowledge, servant of truth, and your humble chronicler. In this series, we follow a group of 5 bold adventurers as we're playing through a version of The Enemy Within for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Everything you hear is drawn from real role-playing sessions. Now, let's get back to our story. Chapter 10, Bloodsedge. One by one, the rest of the companions rise, stretching, eating, packing. Brother Pius leads a short morning prayer, which only Gerhardt skips, chewing his ration with a sour look. Franz eventually turns toward the man he now no longer knows as Brother Thaddeus, but as Heinrich, witch hunter of the Holy Order of the Templars of Sigmar. "So," Franz says, arms crossed, "how do you suggest we proceed now, Master Witch Hunter?" He places emphasis on the title. Not outright mockery, but not quite respect either. Cleo keeps his eyes low, his shoulders tight. "Brother Heinrich will suffice," the Nordlander replies coolly, rolling up his map. "And you have nothing to fear from me." He looks at them all. "I've not changed. I remain a loyal servant of Sigmar, and I'll honor my promise to Ursula. We'll find the truth about the wizard, the Pegasus, and whatever else lies at the end of this cursed trail." Gerhardt scoffs, arms flung wide. "Nothing's changed? You can't be serious." He gestures toward the scorched earth, the remains of the cultist camp. "Last night, I nearly got skewered by a goatman, in part thanks to you. And I don't even know what to say about what happened after the battle." He glances toward the ash pit. "How are we supposed to trust you now?" Heinrich's face darkens. "Trust?" he repeats. "You know, that's a little rich, coming from a conman from Middenheim with a price on his head." "Conman?" Gerhardt snaps. "Who are you calling a—" "Gentlemen," Brother Pius interrupts, stepping between them. His voice is calm but firm. "I think we're all still running hot from yesterday." He glances around, his weathered face kind. "I understand your anger. Truly. A mask worn long enough does feel like a betrayal when it comes off." He looks to Franz, then Cleo, then Gerhardt. "But let me offer something in return. A thought." Pius steps into the center of the group, his tone shifting into something more like a sermon. "When I was a novice, I once asked our prior, 'Why do witch hunters wear cloaks, not robes?' He told me, 'Because they must go where robes cannot.'" The companions say nothing. It is easy to tell the truth when the world claps for it, but when chaos creeps into temples, courts, and quiet country halls, then truth must sometimes wear armor, or mud, or lies. He looks at Heinrich. "He didn't walk among you to deceive out of pride or malice. He essentially did it to keep you safe, from knowledge that kills too early, from eyes that see too much too soon. He bore your suspicion, so you wouldn't have to bear the consequences." Pius smiles faintly. "He wears the cloak. I carry the torch, but we both serve the same flame." Franz exhales. He's about to speak when Pius raises a hand. "And yes," he says softly, "I know what you're thinking. the torture, the screams. No one responds. Pius is not wrong. The witch hunter's actions after revealing himself were indeed shocking. The monk clears his throat. Sigmar teaches mercy, but not to monsters in man's skin, not to threats against humanity. Chaos does not bargain. It consumes. It manipulates. It tries to sway you to its cause. If even one life was spared, if even one child is not dragged to some bloodied altar somewhere, then these cultists' deaths were the price paid for someone else's future. Sigmar doesn't always demand clean hands. He demands clean outcomes. A heavy silence settles. Finally, Heinrich speaks. "Thank you, brother." He looks to Franz, to Cleo, to Dwinbar, then, lastly, to Gerhardt. "I place my trust in you," he says, "and I hope, in time, you'll place yours in me." There's a pause. Then Dwinbar clears his throat. "We should get moving." Everyone agrees. They pack quickly. Brother Pius and young Hannes agree to travel with the group until a safe route south to the Reichland can be found. Franz and Cleo take the lead, as per usual. They follow the tracks left by the cultists who fled during the battle. The trail winds through trees and over rough hills until it bends down toward a larger road at the base of a gorge. They avoid the road, choosing to stay off-grid. No point in drawing attention, not now. And then they see it. Blood on bark. Drag marks in the dirt. A familiar figure slumped against a root. Ludwig Fuchs, the cult magus, the heavy-set bearded man who initiated the ritual last night. Now dead. Throat slit. Someone killed him deliberately. And recently. Someone close to him. Close enough to inflict such a wound with ease. Heinrich kneels beside the body, checking the pockets. He finds a folded letter, blood-stained but legible. The wax seal is crude and broken, the handwriting sharp and direct. It's from someone above Fuchs in the Red Crown hierarchy. Instructions. Integrate the sorceress Helena into the cell. Begin transmutation trials. Secure volunteers. Mentions of someone called the Mouth. Mentions of safe houses in Altdorf, to which Fuchs needs to report once his tasks have been carried out. No address given. An ominous symbol of an eye within a crown is drawn at the bottom. Heinrich pockets the letter. "Looks like this Fuchs outlived his usefulness," he mutters. Or maybe the young Helena didn't want the competition. They bury the corpse without ceremony. Then onward, deeper into the howling hills. Franz checks the map again. The red X isn't far now. If they press on, they'll reach it by nightfall. But the terrain changes. Hills grow steeper, rougher. The forest thickens. The ground becomes rock-strewn and slick. Each step forward feels like crossing a threshold, away from safety, away from home, and towards something unknown. Something waiting. By late afternoon, the hills begin to change. The rocks grow jagged. The wind picks up. Moss clings to every surface. And then they hear it. A low roar rising above the treetops. A waterfall. Moments later, they reach its edge. A treacherous ravine, wide and sharp, with a raging river roaring below. Spray mists the air. Slippery stones glisten in the fading light. The only way forward is across. The companions gather at the edge, eyes scanning for safe passage. "There," says Franz, pointing to a narrow ledge of stone stretching part way over the torrent. "It's madness," mutters Gerhardt. "One wrong step and you're gone." As they argue, Gerhardt's eyes drift across to the far bank and catch something pale beneath a gnarled tree. Bones. The skeleton of a horse, half covered in moss and creeping ivy. The remains rest in the shade of the tree, its twisted roots gripping the hillside like claws. "That's odd," Gerhardt says. "A horse dying out here? No trail nearby. I'm going to have a look once we cross." Franz frowns but doesn't stop him. The bones look old, but something feels off. They decide to attempt the crossing, one at a time. The rocks are wet and treacherous. Foam roars below like a beast hungry for misstep. Hannes goes first, with Dwinbar close behind. Then it happens. A stone slips. Hannes gasps, and the river takes him. Franz cries out. Cleo screams, but Dwinbar doesn't hesitate. With a shout, the dwarf dives in after the boy. Water swallows them both. Franz scrambles down the bank, leaping across boulders. He spots them, Hannes flailing, Dwinbar clutching him, their heads bobbing in the current. The dwarf is weighed down. Too much gear, too much armor. He's sinking. Franz throws himself into the foam, grabs Dwinbar's outstretched hand, and hauls them toward the bank with every ounce of strength. Moments later, coughing and soaked, the three collapse on the far side. Cleo and the others hurry to join them. They made it. Barely. With breath caught and clothes dripping, they follow Gerhardt's curiosity toward the bones. Up close, the horse skeleton is even more eerie. Its limbs twisted unnaturally, the ribs cracked open like something had fed on it. A few paces beyond, a human skeleton lies half-concealed beneath a tangle of vines. Remnants of blackened armor cling to its frame. A rusted sword juts from the earth. Then the tree moves. Vines shoot out like whips, long, sinuous stems covered in razor-edged leaves. They slice the air and wrap around Brother Pius, dragging him off his feet. "Bloodsedge!" the monk screams as he's pulled into the foliage. The barbs cut deep, drawing blood, which the leaves drink, turning a sickly red as they feed. Heinrich draws his blade, rushing to help, but is snared mid-stride. The vines coil around his torso, locking his arms, lifting him from the ground. The plant is feeding. The companions leap into action, hacking at the writhing tendrils, but there are too many, too fast. And then, Cleo steps forward. No more waiting, no more hiding. Something inside him ignites. He rushes to the tree, hands outstretched, lips trembling. "Let them go," he whispers. The vines lash at him, but he grabs one, razors biting into his palms. He doesn't flinch. He draws in something unseen, something wild, and then speaks a word in no known tongue. A shock jolts through the vine, and suddenly, everything stops. The vines tremble, wither, die. So does the tree. Before their eyes, it dries out in seconds. Leaves curl inward, bark blackens, the roots crack. Life is torn out of it like air from a lung. What remains is ash and silence. Pius falls free. Heinrich lands hard beside him, both coughing, bleeding, but alive. No one speaks. All eyes turn to Cleo. The boy's arms are bleeding. His chest heaves. Tears stream down his face. "I didn't mean to," he says, staring at the dead tree. "I just wanted to make it let go." Franz rushes to him, drops to a knee, grabbing his shoulders. "You did good, Cleo," he says softly. "You saved them. You did good." But Franz's eyes flicker nervously. To Brother Pius, clutching his torn robes, and to Heinrich, expression unreadable, one hand on his blade. Franz isn't sure what just happened, but whatever Cleo just did, it wasn't a trick, it wasn't herbs, and it certainly wasn't luck. It was hedgecraft, unlicensed magic, and the witch hunter saw it, all of it. And that, my noble listener, is where we're going to end this chapter. Please do leave a like and a comment on the video, as it really helps out the channel. I have been your narrator, Brother Clavius of the Temple of Verena. Until next time, may truth prevail.